my gun. Some fingers are short, some fingers are tall. I say, them no be my gun. Life not on my tongue. Some fingers are short, some fingers are tall. My name sweet for your mouth, oh, my name sweet. Come on, it too sweet for your mouth, oh, it too sweet.
My name's sweet in your mouth, oh, my name's sweet. It too sweet in your mouth, oh, it too sweet. Let the people talk about you, oh. Let them talk.
I say, leave them, make them talk about you, oh.
Make them talk. Let the people talk about you, oh. Let them talk.
I forget anyone talk about you, oh.
Let them talk.
Come on.
God bless me, oh. You can't stop me, oh. Yeah. They try, but they not ever say. Hey, Papa, bless me, oh. You can't try me, oh. Yeah. They try, but they not ever say. Meditating on big things. Put my head on big things. Gotta fucking do big things. Yeah, oh. Meditating, concentrating. Got the money, do the talking. Meditating, concentrating. Say my name, oh. My name is sweet in your mouth, oh. My name is sweet. It is sweet in your mouth, oh. It too sweet. My name is sweet in your mouth, oh. My name is sweet. It is sweet in your mouth, oh. My name is sweet. Let the people talk about you. Let them talk. Let the people talk about you. Make them talk. Get them reason to talk about you. Oh. Let them talk. Let the people talk about you. Let them talk.
Casey, Dench,
Mixing laser.
come on. Casey, Dench, are you ready now?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say hello and welcome. Welcome to a fresh, brand new edition of the program ASHFORD GARLEY Live on this beautiful Tuesday night as we come to you from Detroit, Michigan. It feels great tonight, 37 degrees, a little chilly tonight, folks, I'm telling you. Oh, man. Well, as always, you came here alone on earth, and you will leave alone. You make some friends along the way. You will lose some friends along the way. But that is not the end of life. Continue to believe in yourself. Continue to work hard on yourself so that you can one day end up fortune. As always, folks, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from bathing bucket. When white men know you friend black man. When you see the crawfish come from underneath the water and see the crocodile here sweating, don't say that lie. Trust no shadow in the dark. I talk way. What no muzo and what you mad double do it when chance any no cloud do a blood my Jimmy Adre. Yo, the medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia, the broadcast commissioner, ASHFORD the Giant, the now you know me Garley. Welcome. It's time to give it up for Mike, Kuloko Park, Sandy, Serena and Tisley, Tracy Wilson, Joseph and Francis Doe Topic, and Cecilia Brunel. Jimmy Carter, Victor Kaiser. Victor, what's happening, my brother? Long time. How's everything? My Christmas on you. My birthday is on the 27th, Victor. I also like to say hi to Mr. Amos Tubusen Jonian, Alvin Perry, Yvette Seifert, Mike again, hey, Sam Koluba, the rest of the crew, Abby, Brahima Benda, Cool Gloria Vulcan Molba, Body Polai, Joseph, and I also see my sister, my big sister May Carter. May, how you doing tonight? I hope all is going well. David, the Wukulo, Emmett Don, and the rest of the crew, folks. At this time, I'd like to take time out to invite, let's say, introduce my partner, my co-host. Hey, Annie Boy, what's up, sis? Master Roberts, Edizana Kanga, Marcus and Momo. This is the most eruptible volcano. And let us see if the volcano gonna erupt tonight. Please join me as we introduce to you the eruptible volcano Shelton.
Thank you, Ashford, man. Listen, great introduction. It feels good to be back here. Last night we had a good show, and tonight it promises to be another, exciting one. We have a studio guest tonight, so we wouldn't do all the talking and all the analysis. We have someone to come and give us some firsthand, information and their own take on the trending issues in the country. But again, we want to welcome everyone. I see some wonderful people here tonight. We really appreciate your devotion to us. Listen, you're in the right place. This is the best platform out here discussing issues relating to Liberia, the motherland, to ensure not just Liberia but the continent as a whole, that we are speaking against the ills of society, and then trying to hold our leaders' foot to the fire so that they understand that the ordinary people, in as much as they may not come out to say what they want to say, we're here to be watchdogs and help to speak for them, and also give them the education that they require, so that when they go to these polls, they can unseat some of you who continue to keep them in degradation, poverty, and hardship. Look at what's happening in Liberia today. Currently, Christmas is what, 3 days from now? Barely 3 days. And everything we're hearing, even that the American embassy had to come out and say, listen, it's not easy. No money in the country. And ASHFORD had predicted this weeks prior to this movement. So that tells you that things are not as, people are saying they are. ASHFORD, thank you so much for this opportunity that we can continue to come here, educate our people, inform our people, and help to, preach the gospel of good governance in Liberia and other places in Africa.
And Shelton, let us talk about the drive, the membership drive, in reaching out to our brothers and sisters here in the diaspora and in other parts of the world, that this platform is self-funded. We can't do this alone. They want us to give them the information as it unfolds. And it's one thing to say you guys are doing a great job. It's another thing to form part of the membership.
Family.
And I want you to just put a spin on that for a minute before we introduce our guests, especially the membership, because people are asking about the drive, and I think we need to explain to them as to how the drive works. I personally call some people that I'm close to, and we are now beginning to tell the rest of the world that we are here to work for you. If it means that we'll go in the trenches, we will go there, but we need some type of assistance. We can't do it by ourselves. We don't rely on the government. We don't rely on the opposition. But it's people like you that we depend on to help us to go through.
And that's what you're right. Listen, everything starts with a step. And this is the step we've taken to create a platform, a credible platform that would not be compromised. And I know me, when it comes to my integrity and when it comes to me, putting my hand into something. So I would not want to have the government say, listen, we can give you $50,000 to be our propaganda machine or politicians, because then that gives us no armor. You understand me? To tackle the issue and to speak against the ills of society. But it is you, the ordinary people, our ordinary devoted fans who come here every night when we come on to discuss these trending issues in the country, the continent, even here in the diaspora. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you continue to do. Take off your busy time to come and join us. But equally, all of these things that you see us doing is coming out of pocket and it's costly. Technology is one of the most expensive things. And any leader who does not put resources in technology fails, because this is the medium by which you can reach the people. This is the medium by which you can disseminate information that are pertinent to improving the economy, that are pertinent to improving the healthcare sector, that are pertinent to improving the educational sector or every sector. So that's why it's so critical. What we ask you to do is to just tip in, or chip in and do whatever you can to help us, because it's not just coming on. Why you may think that some of these platforms may be free like Facebook, but there are technical issues in the background that need to be taken care of. Or we also have relationship with radio stations in Liberia that air everything we're doing here, simulcasting while we're live here, and those people expect us to compensate. We have foot soldiers on the grounds, technical guys on the grounds that we need to also compensate. And so it's costing a lot more just coming here and doing this. And we don't want to be compromised. We don't want to take anything from anyone who would then say to us, "Oh, listen, I put this money in here, so I expect you to give this message this way." So we'll encourage you in the coming days, in the coming weeks, you'll be receiving letters from us. We will contact you to get your address and send you a letter, um, detailing to you exactly what our intent is and the credibility around it, because it's just as easy as saying it, but we want to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable so that you can trust the process and be a part of something. And so, whatever, and it's not all about money, but if you have some intelligent suggestions to give, opinion, things that will help us grow and get bigger, because we don't just want to remain a, a Facebook, YouTube platform. We want to go to Liberia and be a presence on the grounds. We want to be a presence on the grounds. I'm freezing here. Ashford, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Shelton. Again,
Okay. So
speaking about what you just said, it, while it is true that we are the broadcast professionals, there are people who are schooled in other areas. They're in marketing. If you know that you have some type of marketing strategy, please feel free to contact us and bring us your ideas on how we can make this self-sufficient. So that we can be able to expand and do what we have to do for Mama Africa.
yes, and as I was saying, we're trying to make sure that we can even do something on the grounds, have a conventional radio station to be a part of the process. And think about it. Come 2023, it will be a crossroad for Liberia. A serious crossroad for Liberia. And how can we be of an impact? Voter education would be critical. We've seen what happened in this just ended midterm senatorial elections. We've seen what happened. And so it will be even critical for the presidency. Because listen, man, we've come a long way as a country to continue to be behind. And it's about time that we awaken, we enlighten the people so that we can put the right leadership in place. And we're not saying that we're saying anything against the current leadership. If the current leadership does what it has to do, it still has time. We've said it repeatedly. If they do what they have to do and clean up and make good on the promises, maybe the Liberian people might give them a second chance. If not, of course, we'll be there to see who's going to exit and who's going to come in.
And
That's all.
Shelton, thanks for that. And more citizens are not happy. You hear this within their own inner circle about how the special election turned out on December 8th, and they want to see something happen, and why are they angry? And what are they going to do about this? We saw seditions out venting, talking about how disappointed they were with the way the elections were handled. And some of them came out and flat out said, you know what? We were flogged, we were beaten. We didn't do what we had to do. And one of such seditions uh, lives here in the diaspora. He's a staunch sedition. He's a strong supporter of President WEAH. And the name is Joel Eric Williamson. Join me, Shelton, as we introduce him now to Bridge Radio and the rest of the world. Joel, hello, my brother, and welcome to Bridge Radio Africa.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure being here. And thanks to your co-host.
Joel, could you just turn to your left a little bit, because yes, that way
Here
you
you go.
focus directly to the public. Thank you. So maybe you need to turn your computer, camera, whatever you're using, or phone.
Okay,
Just tilt it in the direction of where you were looking. Yeah, that would be fine. Thank you.
okay, Joel, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what brings you in tonight, and then we'll go from there.
Well, again, thanks for the invite and being on your show. My name is Joel Williamson, and I am resident in Maryland. I am a ardent DIEHARD CDCIAN. I've been a member of the party for a little over 11 years, since 2009, and an ardent supporter of President WEAH, dating back to as far back as his football days and up to now, and been a part of watching his political ascendance. I been in the vanguard of Liberian politics for a little over a quarter of a century. So it is not strange to me, but I'm here today to opine on the elections that just went and what I think of it and what I hope for the country.
So let us begin with your thoughts on the just and the elections in Liberia. Number one. Number two, what brings you in tonight?
So first and foremost, let me extend my sincere congratulations to Senator-elect Darius Dillon and all the winners of the CPP. I'd like to tell them, extend my sincere congratulations, and admit here that what happened in this just election, there's no two way to spin it. We suffered a shellacking at the polls, even though we won certain counties. The election that just ended, in my mind, is not a bellwether of the 2023 election, but it is a clarion call to my party that the voters are not listening to us or are not in resonance with what we are doing. And so we must make a change. I like to say that while the CPP has won a lot of seats, their victory now makes them an integral part of the government apparatus in Liberia, so they can no longer sit on the fence and criticize. They are an integral part of government. So I will hope that their position now is to work with government so that we can achieve tremendous economic success for our country. No one party can do this. So I'm looking to a brighter time, a place where we can find common ground to work. So I'm here today to just give my idea of what I think my party can do moving forward in order to get the voters looking at us again. I want to remind my party, while President Weah has had many successes in office over the last 3 years, and a part of his legacy and historians of the future will write a marvelous chapter of his first 3 years that he has accomplished a lot that no other presidents have accomplished in a short while. But if those accomplishments are not reflecting the daily lives of the citizens, these results that we got in Montserrat and other places will follow us. And before I end this, I just like to show a few things here. Some of the things President Weah has done, some of the things that he's done over the period of time that has brought a lot of development to Liberia, and how we move forward as a party is to understand, excuse me, I think I lost it, is to understand that this is not, excuse me, I think I lost, I don't know if you have me there, but I think I did. Okay, is to understand that we are a ruling party, we're not opposition. The people are looking for us to present change in their lives.
Mr. Williamson, you talk about accomplishment, you talk about successes. What are some of those that you can name for us?
Okay, I think there's a lot I can go on to do, and I will do that in a minute.
Okay.
Let me name a few that I can talk about. Just give me a minute. We can go look at some of the roads that the president has done. They just ended election, the rule of law. They just ended election in Liberia are some of those examples. But we can go and look at, let me just put up a few.
But just before
that I have here. So let me talk to you. So the Dole Community Road, the Bishop Marco Francis Road, the Lokitan Broad Street Road, Chuba Road, Ganta to Yekepa Highway, Rail Light to Cocopa Factory, Banjo Road, Soul Cleaner Road, the pipeline to Johnsonville Road, Drivers Market Road, Tinkers Village Road, the Ralphie Highway, pavement of almost every feeder road in rehab community, Gannesville Town Hall to Small Simarco Road, Fairground Road in Buchanan, New Kutan Coastal Defense Project, the NPA new headquarters, the 14 Military Hospital, the new Redemption Hospital in Caldwell being built, 500 Popo houses being built across the country, 50 plus houses being built on Marshall Road, the Old Market Road, the Ominga Market, the Tupo Road Market, Gubatel Market, Agro-Business Trade Hub, people, renovation of all the houses in the military barracks, not to mention projects that have been implemented by our international partners.
Mr. Williams.
Tuition to our public universities and colleges in Liberia, free WIAC fee paid for 12th graders, sponsored tutorial for all.
Mr. Williamson.
WIAC courses. So those are just a few things, but if those developments are not translated to the daily lives of people, those things mean nothing. So my position to what I have here, those are developments, there are projects, but that's a presidential initiative. What we need for the performance of his ministers to match his efforts, and so far they haven't.
Mr. Williamson, when was the last time you were in Liberia?
Well, I don't know if proximity, it's been a while, but I don't know if proximity to a situation.
Give us some number. When was the last time you were in Liberia?
Well, about 10 years.
About 10 years.
Come on, Mr. Williamson.
Wait now. Well, let me find out something here. Let me answer the question, because I don't know if being in Liberia means that you have more interest than us who live in the diaspora. Because that analogy, that mindset, let me just give you an example. Proximity to a situation does not mean interest therein. Because you live near the church, doesn't mean you go to church. So because I live in the United States, doesn't mean I don't have interest in Liberia. And that idea from anyone who says that, it's irrelevant. I disagree with that idea.
What I'm saying? Just let me come in quick. We're not saying that you don't have interest, but when you give these numbers and the projects and the stuff you're talking about, do you see what they are, or you just reading? Because
I see what they are. I have pictures of them.
I'm coming. Picture. I've seen the food in the restaurant on picture, and when they brought the food in real time, it was a mess. They showed
Okay,
me the picture, and I said, "This is what I want to eat," and they brought the real food. So some of those things you're calling roads, they are alleys. No sidewalk,
okay.
no
Your
sidewalk.
description, sir, your description of those things. Are you saying those things I'm saying do not exist, or are you saying they don't exist to your specification to call them road?
One of the things,
Yes,
one of the things that
that's agreed.
Okay, you're saying that, but that doesn't negate.
I mean, Mr. Williamson, one of the things that you said that is far from the truth. You mentioned the Rebel Field Highway, and I went on the Rebel Field Highway,
and the men are taking 2 hours all day.
And if you said to the audience that the Rebel Field Highway is one of the projects that has been worked on, then you are joking.
Okay,
I went there myself.
And nothing has been done. Nothing has been done there. Is that what you're saying?
I am not saying nothing has been done.
Oh, okay. So,
but listen.
No. You are calling me because you are calling me. I'm not saying the truth. So if you say something is being done there, then what's the problem?
Mr. Williamson, the company that was hired to do the job on the RIA does not have the capacity to complete that job. And President WEAH is saying between now and July of 2023, that highway will be. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
that's why we're talking impossibilities. That's why we're talking impossibilities. You are agreeing with me that something is being done on the road. Let's not project the future. Let's not project the future in the present here. When you are saying to me, I'm lying to the people, but yet you say in your own tone that something is being done there, then where is the lie?
But no one said you were lying here.
No, you can't say what I'm saying to the people are not true.
Getting to this project, you're talking
Mr.
about
Shelton. Are those projects not existent?
Listen, ASHFORD just called the 14th Military Hospital on urgent care. That's
okay. Excuse me. Was it there? I think your description of those things does not negate the fact that they exist.
Listen,
what we are talking about here is this: we need development. Now, listen. We need development. We can criticize and want to do this and say, "Oh, these roads are alleys. These roads are what?" But prior to those times, those alleys did not exist for people that was possible. If they are possible right now, let's give credence there. It doesn't mean it changes the day-to-day life of the people, which I think is what government needs to focus on now. I am not saying yet to say that that is all. While the president have done some work, what needs to be done is his ministers now need to create policies that will reflect and change the day-to-day life of the Liberian people. That's why I'm a party of failing. That's why.
Would you agree that the 14th military urgent care was built with the assumption that it was going to be state of the art? Why are people leaving Liberia to seek medical attention in other parts of Africa and not the 14th military urgent care?
Well, let me just say this to you, brother. What I'm not interested in is finding faults with development. Let me give you an example here. Prior to the 14th Military Hospital, 10, 15 years ago, before CDC led government, traveling to Ghana and coming to the United States for healthcare has been the norm for those who can afford it. So I will not bring this here to make it big. Hold on. You asked a question, let me land.
It is still the norm.
You asked a question there, let me land. Because
go ahead,
in the absence of the 14th Military Hospital, what did we have? You know, Ronald Reagan told us one time, he said, you never quarrel with success. We never quarrel with success. Building that hospital, it was a success. It served a need. So whether it's not able to take care of all the medical needs of Liberia at once, I don't think it's a bad thing to have. You can see it differently. I don't think it was meant to stop everybody from going to seek better medical care. That was not the intent of the hospital. You call it an urgent care? Okay. We call it urgent care, that's okay. But what about Madam Jerry, who built a $10 million clinic hospital in Senequili? What happened with that hospital? Were you guys talking about people not leaving Liberia? Did it solve all of Liberia's economic problems? Let's not nitpick here.
All right, so Mr. Williamson, let's come back to the crux of this conversation. You came here tonight because you're displeased with your ruling party. Let's talk about some of the things that you are displeased with. Now, you gave the credibility to the president. You just said, and I wrote that down, that he is the only president in the history of Liberia that has done so much in 3 years than any other president ever. So
Yeah.
good. You laid out some of those things. But let's talk about what if he's that good, why are you so displeased with the
Because
ruling party?
very good question. Because when you become a leader, become a ruling party, I'm not one of those people who subscribe to the idea that a fish gets rising from the head. When they give you position and you take a position in government, the enormity of your position must be to serve. Okay, you can be in a position. We say, let me just take an example. The mayor, postal affairs minister, you've been there for 2-3 years. You haven't made one thing possible for Liberian people to for meal delivery system in Liberia on your own initiative. You have something to do as a minister of postal affairs. If you're a minister of sports, youth and sports, I'm not calling him, I'm using this minister, not them particularly.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of young people, jobless, sitting down there, and we have nothing presented to government through the labor ministry or so for a widespread creation of jobs. Those things need to come from the ministers then up to the president. And I just think the performance is not matching his efforts. And I hope he can notice that and take action into something. It's time for me. If I had a recommendation, we need to step out, find some people and bring them in rather than looking for the available and making them capable. We need to find the capable and make them available. And I think the president, this is an onus that the president needs to own up to, and not to just reshuffle, but to change and bring in some other people, even from the opposition. Let us build Liberia. So I think some of the ministers have been a failure.
Do you think that he's heard his message time and time immemorial, but he just failed to do what he has to do because it's, his boys and they're all having fun, and Liberia is just another place to play free time ball and make reggae music and just fool around?
Well, I will not call those things fool around. I will not call the president playing. No, that's just description of that. I will not call it fool around. But what I will say to you though, the president has the last election, it hasn't sent a message to the president to understand that the Liberian people are looking for change that they voted for. They are looking for change to be in their lives, on the livelihood. If he doesn't see that, I will be disappointed. I think he does, and I think action is coming soon.
Now,
he has to change some of the people in government. We have to reach out of our party. We have to grow our party, okay? And we have to reach out there, look for capable Liberians, irrespective of the political affiliation, bring them to the team. Our job as a ruling party, we cannot operate as opposition. We need to grow our tent. One of the reasons we failed, we never grew our tent. We were satisfied with Montserrat, and that's why we're having problems. So I'm asking my party, rather than blaming the chairman for our victory, let us look at if we have lived up to our promises made to the Liberian people.
Mr. Williamson, you said the people were angry. Now you said, not you per se, but CDCIAN said they were angry. That's why they voted the way they voted in 2019, when Senator Dillon won 103,000 or 104,000 votes. And they said the people were just angry. But you people, including the president, he was going to regain Montserrat by all costs. 206,000 votes for Darius Dillon. People from the CDC camp said they were going to win all 15 seats in the Senate. They lost 12. They only won 3. What is the lesson learned here? We have a president who, instead of going to reach out to his people after the election in 2017, never did. He waited for the special election before he started going from county to county. Even though, like you mentioned, he built a lot of homes for his people in other parts of the country. But why would you think the people voted the way they voted? And what is the lesson learned here? And how do you compromise this?
You can't compromise. You compromise this by realizing your failures. You compromise. You work like this by saying, where did I go wrong? The people of Liberia, listen, if we come into places like Christmas and what have you, no matter how small a man's check is, the regularity of it matters. No matter how small the check is. Regular, like, it doesn't take a whole lot of policing to do with the voters. But when the voters will ask you, what have you done for me lately? If Christmas is coming and this man is wondering where he's going to get his pay from, maybe he hasn't got November pay. Maybe he's going to be angry. It's not a question of that for us to think why the people voted that way. We need to go back. Luckily for us as CDCians, time, the greatest innovator, is still on our side to right the ship. We need to do that. Like I said, this election is a clarion call. Let's go back to the table, begin to find how we can initiate a widespread job creation program. Let us go back. Some of the development we're doing, let us go back and talk about human capacity building. Focus our attention on our international partners. Develop industrial-free zone authority to begin to make the things in Liberia made in Liberia good, to create jobs for our young population. Then our politicians then will be part of that. Help the Liberian citizen at large in job creation. We cannot be calling people to vote. You know, one of the things I told one of my partisans, he said, you see, we have over 50,000 people at SKD. And I told him, I say, you know what? There's 750,000 people voting. Putting 50,000 people in the stadium is not a margin, or it's not what you need. What you need is for people to be happy with what their daily bread is coming from. Happy that the take-home pay can take them home. When the take-home pay can take them home, as a ruling party, we are in trouble. And unless we realize that at this point and accept our collective blame, not in blame the chairman or anybody, our collective blame, and figure out where we can go forward, I'm afraid that there could be more shellackings for us. But I'm happy that sometimes this thing it subdues us. So the lesson that I learned is something of reflection. So we see what we've done wrong, to see that some of our people are not performing well. It's time for the appeasement period to be up and bring in people that can serve the president, match the president's efforts. The present corps of officers are not doing it.
President WEAH is your friend. You're very strong supporter of President WEAH. You guys go way back. Auditors mysteriously died in Liberia. There are 3 missing young men. The economy is in the toilet. No money in the country. The president gets up and plays Freetown ball. The president is in the studio. Every other week, he produces a new song. What has been your conversation with George WEAH?
Well, I haven't spoken to the president directly on that, but what I've said on that, I was happy that the president invited the United States Embassy to involve in the auditor's report. And their report, if you look at the report that they gave up, they were not, as much as they were mysterious, they didn't find foul play. So at least he reached out to an independent organization, like a reputable group like the American Embassy, to help with that. Now, you know, again, it goes back to my point. When people livelihood are at stake, the least thing you do, look, if people were enjoying and the people getting paid on time and other commodities were down, and the president playing football is not a problem. So I think in the wake of these things, we can find he will still play football. So he will still play that. Some can look at it differently, like he's reaching down to them. But I can understand your frustration and those who are frustrated with that. We are hoping that we can align those things from what the president doing with bettering the lives of people. In the absence of, you know, people being no money in the country, no people are not getting paid, commodities, basic commodities are high. The least thing the president do, those things that we should share, we will be angry about it. I don't have any problem with the president going to play soccer, or maybe singing. I'm just concerned. I hope that we can focus on improving the life of the Liberian people. And while we do these things, we can walk and chew gum.
Mr. Williamson, we all commended President WEAH back in the day when our country was in trouble, where bullets were all over the place. He called the United Nations, he called ECOWAS, and said, my country is bleeding. I want you to please come and intervene. Now that he's the president of Liberia, under his watch, people are mysteriously getting killed. People are missing. In some instances, body parts are used for ritualistic purposes. The president does not say anything. He goes in his comfort zone and does what he likes to do. But yesterday, the former president came out with a tweet about her assertion of the Christmas lightning. And she said the lighting of the candle or the Christmas light was impressive, but the economy, the people are hungry. You need to do something. Are you telling me that this president who once said that he will grade Ellen Johnson Sirleaf 80%, that he will protect Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her family, it was yesterday that he came out to talk about all the bad things that Ellen did? Why didn't he prosecute or recommend an audit on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf?
Okay, so here is the thing. I will want to answer your question, but the fact that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is saying that she didn't say that tweet, that it was it was not her account. I don't know if I can hold her responsible for that, because she's denying the tweet. Maybe after the president responded the way she responded, she said she denied the tweet. So I don't want to say it's her, but coming from Ellen, I think it was probably a disgrace hearing her talk about opulence. Talking about opulence. The president rightly counted what she said. But whether the president persecuted her or not does not excuse her malfeasance, does not excuse the failure of a government. It does not excuse that. You know, where we had a tremendous international goodwill flow to Liberia and we had nothing to show for. And the president and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf could not run her own record. She has no ground to talk about this government. She has no ground, but she said she didn't write that. She said she didn't write that because she was the same person who said when $40 million got missing from NOCA, okay, I would take responsibility for her. Her son was there. Is that opulence? What happened to the $10 billion from Chevron? Is that opulence? Because the president didn't audit her, does not excuse her malfeasance and corruption. For us Liberians, and would like people of the fourth estate to hold her to that and don't abdicate her from that because the president did not go ahead and prosecute her. Politics makes for strange bedfellows. Have you asked yourself the question why she couldn't run her own record if she was that good?
Actually, let me comment quick. Mr. Williamson.
Yeah.
I like your plea to the president to do some reshuffling, get rid of some people. And I just made that analogy last night on our show that the president is the vase and the people he has around him is the wine. And all he needs to do is do some spilling and bring in new wine. But yeah, what it is. These people came to power and said, this is our time for eating. The vice president even made that open declaration that if you are not a seditian, you have no place in Liberia. Do you think those people, ASHFORD always says some of those guys never even could afford $100. They couldn't even afford gas money. They couldn't even pay the rents. And these guys now basking in the glory and adoration of money with no accountability. Corruption is at its highest peak. Do you think these people are willing to let go and let some of you and I, with the experience, with the integrity, with the intelligence to contribute? When I use the word you and I, and I'm us in particular, you know, do you think they're ready to let go?
Well, politics aside, sometimes you have to put politics aside or politics will put you aside. And we are at the place where we need to put politics aside and look for, you know, for people that are willing to work and meet the president where he's at. Let me just say this, corruption in Liberia is endemic. And even if you fire all the ministers today, I don't know if that would take away corruption. But what we need to do, though, I keep going back to this point, we have the ability to pay people on time. We have the ability to, we have the blueprint to create an industrial free zone authority We have the ability to begin to work on things. I know roads are good. Fixing Liberia, developing Liberia is not a quick fix. Let us retool our mind to work, basically. So when someone gets up in the morning and the guy makes $100, he can understand that after 30 days, he's going to get the $100. Because the way you do, the way
you're swaying from the question. My question is, you talked about recommending that the president create a new breed of ministers, assistant minister, people who will come and make the change because he has time in his favor.
Yeah.
So we're not talking corruption. We're talking about, well, what enabling environment can he create to bring in new breed when these people who are already there said this is our time? That's the question, Mr. Williamson. How have you?
The only time we have, I think the president believed that this is the Liberian people time. It wasn't the president who made that remark. It wasn't the president, but in politics, people would say things. You know, we campaign. They say we campaign in portrait, but we govern in prose. So maybe with some of the things we say in when we campaigning, when we get to the governing, especially as a ruling party, it's the Liberian people time. So the president needs to look beyond what we said during the campaign or early days of its rule and look directly at what just happened. The Liberian people are speaking and they spoke loud and clear in 2 elections. If we cannot listen to them, well, as I said, this might not be a bellwether of 2023 because the president wasn't on the ballot, but it's a clarion call that the people are not happy with certain things. And we need to listen to that. So I would say to the president this.
That's what I want.
I would say to the president this. My good friend, Your Excellency, look beyond our party, find able Liberians, work. The fact that the CPP has 6 new members in the Senate, and they have not formed a part of the governing apparatus. Bring in people from their end, from other parties' end, some people that are in government now, and bring them into government. Form a economic think tank for people to think, dialogue, deliberate as to how we can work this, and they don't have to be in government, but bring them in and recognize their expertise. Let's look for that. I would say bring in somebody, you know, people talking about Sam Jackson, other people being this, being that. Sam Jackson's way of thinking and everything, we need it. Bring in people like that on the think that you don't have to put in government, but the likes like that, Avatopa, the thing that people, bring in farm people. Anthony Sayed, love to them. They're in places like that. They don't have to work with the Liberian government, but ask for their help as to what they can do. Amara Conant, bring those people in, talk to them, and see how we can work together as Liberians. Look, I don't call for a reshuffle. If it was me, I need an overhaul of the ministry. You don't need to reshuffle. Some people have outlived their usefulness there. If you ask me the truth, some people have outlived their usefulness. You don't need to move them from one ministry and take them to the other when they haven't performed other. So I'm not calling for a reshuffle. I'm calling for infusion of new minds. Infusion of new minds. That's what I'm calling for.
Mr. Williamson, you said you don't have to be in Liberia to know what is going on. Let us talk about some of the bread and butter issue. What happened to the $30 million that were earmarked for the stimulus package in Liberia? Why no money in the bank? What happened to the money that was in the bank?
Well, now you asked me a question. You're asking me the question.
Mr. Williamson,
why there's no money in the bank, or what happened to the $30 million?
I interrupt you when you're talking. So please give me a chance to land. Christmas is around the corner. When you go to the ATM machine, it appears as if you go to beg for money. People are in line. You have your money in the bank and you can't get your money out. What is going on? Come in.
So again, I think if you've been listening to me, I've already answered that question in many ways. That people in government are not working the way they should work. Look, the 30 million stimulus package has nothing to do with no money in government. Well, if the coronavirus are not happening, we still should have money in our coffers. That people should be able to get money from the bank. So that's a serious issue. That's a failure.
Why are they not getting money from the bank?
So the question is, I just told you that there are failures in the system, and we need to change that. So it's a collective failure. I don't want to go and give something say pinpoint things like that. I've said things need to change. And those are some of the things that need to change. We don't need those kind of hiccups here to say there's no money in the bank. Why is that? It's because people are not performing to the best of their capacity.
What do you think about this bank governor?
Well, the bank governor, he needs to do. Well, there has been some good things he's done, but I think sometimes, well, I don't know if I can blame an individual for it. It's a collective system. It's systemic, and we need to change whatever way our cash flow into the country to see how we can be able to make sure people sending their money. I sent money to Liberia the other day, and somebody couldn't get it from the bank because Western Union, WEAH said they don't have money. And these things here are some of the things we need to change. These things are what some of the voters are saying, and they feel bad. But so I'm not here to whitewash anything and say, oh, you know what, and give excuses for bad practices. That's not what I'm here for. So I'm not defending that. That's a problem. It shouldn't happen.
Now let us talk about the timing of the releases of the songs of the president. We know that he's multi-talented. He plays soccer at a very high level. He's also a professional musician. At the same time, he's the president of Liberia. Given what we are seeing now, where the people are suffering, no money in the country, people can't find food to eat, businesses are shutting down, no electricity. When you have electricity on the oil road today for 1 hour, you will not see electricity again until 3 or 4 days later. Do you think the timing of the releasing of these songs is correct?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the timing. The timing has nothing to do with the suffering of the Liberian people. No, you asked a question. I don't see anything wrong with the timing. I will go back to my same answers. There's nothing wrong with those things, and for somebody to say, oh, maybe he's heartless. But the question here is this. We're talking age-long problems in Liberia, electricity and what have you. I'm going back to the point again. All of these things will mean nothing. The president will continue to sing. The president can chew gum and walk. He can sing while his ministers then work hard to begin to serve the Liberian people, that they take home pay and take them home. It's not mutually exclusive, that you can't do this unless you do that. We can do both things together. And I'm not going to say, yeah, because he's doing that, just okay, if he's not singing, that means he's working. No, I need to see people work. We are going to take a blame. The CDC, we must, at this election, take a blame. Yeah, don't blame Molu. Don't blame. Let us take a collective blame. We have not delivered for our people. We have not delivered in the short time that as a group. The president initiative and efforts are good. His heart is in the right place. But when you get your government job and you take a job as a minister, there's a legacy you have. There's a responsibility you have to perform. And I think the performance has not met the president's efforts. And that's why when he makes music, we can celebrate that other aspect of him, or go out there with the young people and play soccer. We see it as something political. But thank God now, the opposition do not have that luxury of just sitting there and criticizing. They are part of this.
Let me quickly interrupt you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Simon Sinek, a leader, said that the leader sets the tune. If you have a president sitting on his studio and talking about Jah Rastafari, ever living Jah, and he goes on the street and blocks the road in the rain and playing free-time ball, and you tell me that there's nothing wrong with that, and he's the president of a country that is lagging behind its neighbors, making no improvement, and then you're blaming it on the ministers. The ministers see what the president does. If the president means business, the ministers will mean business. So you can't give this kind of excuse. Listen, I don't think you're that frustrated with the CDC tonight. I'm honestly saying this, because if you're frustrated with the CDC, you will be frustrated with President WEAH, because he's not setting the tune. He's not living up to the expectations as a leader. Can you defend that?
Oh, well, I don't think it's my interest in defending your your opinion or in going against your opinion. You're entitled to that. You're entitled to that opinion. But no. You ask.
It's doing things outside of the realm of leadership. When the country, you just said the people don't get paid. The people are struggling. There is no Christmas right now for the Liberian people. And Charles Taylor, one guy, with all his nonsense, he said, don't mess with the Liberian man Christmas. Whatever we do, we got to make sure they're satisfied. And if this president continue going to make music and do what he's doing outside of leadership, do you not find problem with that?
Well, I think when I say to you that the president has to make a change over there, I think I've spoken volumes here. But if you want me to word it as you will word it, then I don't think we're going to be there. I mentioned what the president has accomplished.
Okay. You set the tune in your home. You set the tune in your home as the father. Well,
again, I know that is the case. But when you have adult kids, sometimes if you want to say that the ministers are adult kids, then the other restriction, they're responsible for certain behaviors out there. But let's not make that analogy, because that's an analogous blunder to say about my home and the government.
Okay,
let me answer your question one minute. The government that we have is a collective thing. The ministers then have things to do. The president, like I say, if everything was going on, the president made a song for you for coronavirus. UNESCO, our partner, the other places, hail him for that. We've had 2 elections in Liberia that have been successful by all terms. Praise to the president. We have a government that has been no political prisoner. Praise to the president. The United States they praise the government for a rule of law. That there is an improvement of rule of law in Liberia. The democracy. There's nothing economic thing without democracy will not work. We have built strong economic and democratic institutions being built under this president. So we can want to say everything is wrong. I'm not a subscriber to the fish guys rising from the head.
Mr. Williamson,
we all have responsibility, and I hope the president make the change necessary.
Okay, Mr. Williamson, we're going to go to the line shortly. Where in Liberia you lived before coming to the U.S.?
Well, I live in Caldwell.
Did you at any time contest in any election?
No, my brother did.
Oh, your brother did?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We want to go to the line now and have the people weigh in as well. We have a 610 number, the last 4 digits, 6494. Please tell us your name.
Yeah, good evening, Ashford. Good evening, Volcano. My name is Gonlapa Dolo. I'm calling from the state of Delaware.
Okay.
And I just, Mr. Garley, I don't think it would be necessary for you to bring it. It's very simple. We haven't been to Liberia in a long time. You who just came from there, and for this man to look in the face of the world.
Hold on 1 minute, man. Somebody is speaking. Go ahead, sir. Continue, Mr. Dolo.
Yeah, like I said, Mr. Garley, you just came from Liberia. You rode pen. You walk in the street and we saw you live. You visited all corners. For the gentleman who haven't been to Liberia, for him to preach the beautiful gospel, I mean, you don't need to bring this brother. And let me correct something. Started. So you should get that one straight. Even the senatorial election in Nima County, CDC having won it. They are in court. So, Mr. Garley, my recommendation to you guys is these are the people that when you make them ambassador for Liberia tomorrow, they will kill their own people because they will give the wrong picture of the country to investor. Because he's saying that Eric here is good. When the United States government, the embassy just put a release that there's no money, you have to carry money in the country. He's defending those things. Thank you, Mr. Garley. I don't want to hold your show for a show.
Thank you. And again, that's why this platform is unique. We are not going to restrict as to who comes on the platform and who everybody needs to be. So come on, and if it means that you will say things and people might not agree with you, but we're going to give the opportunity to everyone to come on here and express himself. We have a 609 number and 78. Is that 609 7817? Tell us the name, please.
Yes, my name is Joel Bemba, and I'm calling from you.
Okay. You are live on the radio. Go ahead and make your point.
All right, thank you. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Williamson for appearing. I listened to him. I think he gave his perspective relating to major problem Mr. Williamson need to look at here is what the president took over. The major issue I observe is the issue of priority. I think for many Liberians, one of their major expectations was the issue of integrity. The issue of integrity, I believe, was a major gap in Erling's second term.
Okay.
Now, if you evaluate the former president Salim's term, her first term was robust.
You have 1 more minute.
Erling,
You have 1 more minute,
so,
please.
And so I believe that President WEAH challenge has been priority, and it is failure in the area of integrity in the first 6 months created chaos and created a situation where nobody trusts the government. So even if he's trying to do some of the things he's doing, that integrity question continue to remain in the minds of the Liberians. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Yes, how are you?
Good. Go ahead and make your point, please.
My little input I have here for Mr. William is that if somebody is having a platform and they invite you on the platform, there's a limit of where you talk because you need that time to turn into, to question you. He said he hasn't been in the country for 10 years, and I haven't been in the country for 20-something years. For some of the youth that have left Liberia at the age of very young age. For me to see people suffering in Africa right now, the road is not clear. There is no light. We are all in darkness. Other people's country are perfect. Other people's country are doing better than our country. What are the input are you having in mind for you to give out to those people that are going through the war, that are going through all the nonsense they have went through in Liberia, seeing innocent babies that have died, taking a young baby from in the mother.
1 more minute, please.
What is the interest for you to sit here? And what are the future do you have for the youth that in Liberia right now that's suffering, smoking, taking drugs, don't even have a job? What are the input do you have for them?
Thank you.
At this moment.
Thank you, man. Okay,
yeah. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes?
This is from Mr. William.
Yeah, this is Musa Benson.
Okay.
I just want to tell Mr. William, you said that in America, on air condition, you enjoy yourself. I just came from Liberia February. And I saw Mr. Kali just coming from Liberia. I was living Broadway Plaza. You talking about looking down Broad Street. Excuse me, we're looking down Broad Street because when we come in the road, it's so bad. We just suck up to go to Broadway. We pass through, looking down. All the roads are gone. All the roads are gone because all the roads are bad. Even the new road, I saw myself, oh, but look like I think you bad road. The road gone. What are you talking about? You said that under your air conditioner, you know what the people going through in Liberia? The road are so bad across the street. Mr. That is coming from Liberia. You can attest to that the road are so bad. And the people are catching hell. People are catching hell. You sit down under your air conditioner, enjoying yourself, sleeping anywhere you want to sleep. No light, no current. Everybody doing community life. Everybody living on community life in Liberia. Community life is $40 for $40 for 40 US dollars.
Thank you, Ms. Benson.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Ms. Benson.
You're welcome, Ashford.
Okay, we'll take this. Yeah, go ahead, sir. We'll take you, and then we'll go back to Mr. Williamson.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk.
Okay. My name is Mark Thomas S. Formula, and I call from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay. I think we lost the caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah, tell us your name and where do you join us from tonight?
My name is Miata Paso. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, Miata Paso, we're calling from folks, please slow down on the calling now. We'll take this last caller, go back to Mr. Williamson, and then we'll come back to some more callers. So go ahead, Ms. Paso.
Yeah, I talked to you last night. Remember, I called after the show. I told you I want to call in today.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I remember. Now you have the opportunity. Go ahead.
Okay. What's the time of your guest that you get invited?
His name is Joel Eric Williamson.
Oh, okay, Joel. You and myself will be in the country for a long time, Joel. This is the first time I got brothers, sisters that live in Liberia. Their boys, they all doing their businesses. They never one day even call to say, oh, sister, can you please send us money? My brother then called me like yesterday, crying. Liberia is so hard. We're not doing nothing in our place. My daughter just came from Ghana. I got my other sister that just came from Liberia. When we all sitting here, you don't know the thing. Go to Ghana. We all were in Ghana. Go to Buran Camp. When you go to Ghana now, you see what the people doing there. You're going to be shocked. You know, Open not doing nothing. That's what we see, you know. You're not doing nothing. When you go to Ghana, even the Ghana president got a warning. He said, don't come back here before something happens to you. We be responsible. We got to be a leader. The difference between Open and Donald Trump, free, nothing happened. What happened to the boys? Let's be real. Liberia need a good leader. Open is not. And in 3 years, they don't want to run against Open. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't be 18 load at something now.
You want to protect you.
Have a 385 number. You don't rush it. You don't think you
Am I responding to this?
Go ahead, 385.
At the beginning or at the end?
At the end is 2009.
Okay. Like I said, my name is Mark Thomas S. Formula, and I call from Salt Lake, Utah.
Okay.
I listened to Mr. Williamson. He's my policy, and I'm a disenchanted civilian, but I feel that he's not being truthful to himself and the listening public in the sense that he took the list of short-term projects that the president brought after his inauguration to tell us that was his short-term project to do to do few feeder roads and other things, and then let's look at one of the roads that he named order from the beginning of the show, the Fairground Road. I was in Buchanan because I had my other office in Buchanan at the time. I was there with the vice president and the speaker chamber went to do the groundbreaking on that road. And since then, the road still the same since 2018. So I don't know where he took that stuff from Google or Facebook. He just started listing roads that, projects that the president wanted to do short term, but due to some financial constraint, and then you will notice that most of the roads, even the looking down road, all the roads that he named, that's something he took from Google, and maybe he wants attention from the president now.
Thank you.
Maybe to go back to like.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Garley, how you doing?
And this will be the last caller before we go back to Mr. Williamson. Go ahead, make your point, sir.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Shelton. Also,
thank you.
My name is Vane Bafula. I'm calling from Pennsylvania. I just want to add to what our previous caller has said. Mr. Williamson, I think if you have been here for 10 years or so, you need to go visit Liberia. When you visit Liberia, you see the condition of the Liberian people, you will never support just WEAH. Everybody supported just WEAH. Reason the government has failed because you people are looking at it that the man is not doing nothing. 2 senior government officials were murdered. No suspect. Investigation continue. Is that a government you think also country going to trust? There's no role in that country. They're right now doing anything. It was Thomas Sarah He wanted to project in the 17th area in most of our local. I don't know where he got the money from. But we're going to see how far he's going to get those projects. So, CDC government has failed. No joke. Nothing they can do to come back. Nobody trusts them. You can tell from election. I don't want you like you have the last election. The local then that he was going to defeat them. We got the tapes. He told us that we defeat people. They don't compete with our money. He compete with our money. So the government is not doing that we are the government is not doing good. Thank you.
Actually, let's go back to Mr. Williamson. Your mic is off, Ashford.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. That'll give people a chance to express themselves. Dodi, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, for those of us that went in school in the 70s, in the 80s, there was a storybook they call a reading book cover case. You know, in cover case they have Papa Vidi. Papa Vidi has this grape in his hand. And when the grape dropped in the sea, he said, "There goes my knowledge." Why did I bring this story up? Barrow medicine is gone, Mr. Yumpa, the Minister of Public Work. Let us see now what Opon will be doing role in Liberia. What the role they're talking about? Opon is just weak, and Opon time is over. Thank you. For those of you who went to school in Liberia and they cavalcades, the reading book they call cavalcades, you'll go back and read it or Google it and read it. You'll know exactly how Opon administration is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let us go back to studios. Sheldon, you were saying something before we go back to Mr. Williamson.
No, I'm just flabbergasted here tonight. And I'm reading a lot of comments, but the truth is, Mr. Williamson hasn't done much here to convince the Liberian people of what President WEAH did, and some of his own seditians who are, feeling the pinch and don't think that the president is doing well. I disagree with him. So Mr. Williamson, come back and you heard a lot of the callers. Do you still?
Let me begin by saying, okay.
I'm coming out. Do you still hold the same view you hold when you first, or held rather when you first came on? Or
I don't think I heard anything that would change that would change my position. Apparently, people are not they're listening to what they want to hear. First and foremost, let me correct you. My point was not to convince anybody about WEAH. If you listen to my point was not to convince anybody.
So that's why
it was not my position. No, it was not my job. I'm not speaking of official capacity of government to be there to a spokesman to convince. I'm giving my analysis. And when I talk to it, I will give you. Huh?
You are a stalwart.
A stalwart, because I'm a stalwart of a political party, does not put me in an official capacity to convince anybody. My political affiliation with my party is mine. I'm not in the position. I'm not campaigning yet. Okay? So I'm not here to convince anybody. Secondly, whether this is a bad trend, and to see people calling themselves educated to demarcate, because you were in Liberia last week or I'm in Liberia today, does not make you more Liberian than me.
That's not okay.
Hold on. Let's go. Does not make you more Liberian than me. It's one of the reasons why we cry for dual citizenship, and we can't get it because we send wrong messages.
That's not what we're saying.
Now you asked me to
the facts. Wait
now. The facts. I wish the facts were truth. Facts are based on your own perception and your biases.
Being there 10 years.
Listen now. You're asking me a question. Do you want to answer for me?
No.
Or you want me to give you my perspective?
We're just trying to keep you on course.
No. You can't ask me a question and tell me to answer it the way you want me to answer it, my friend. Let's be that you can disagree with me.
But you're talking about Liberian. That's not what we're saying.
Listen. We have to do this in a time of journalistic professionalism. Yeah, you can disagree with me, but you can't ask me to answer it in the way you want me to. So you ask a question, and let me respond to some of the fine people who call your station. Let me respond to some of the things that they answer. They said You know, because that's why you got the call. And whether they have that view of me. You know, to say because we sit here in America, I will say this again, we have no interest in Liberia. You don't know me. You don't know what I do in Liberia and what my son's in Liberia. I have family in Liberia that I take care of. And they don't support. My sister is a chairperson of ANC. Okay, my brother he didn't run on CDC. So we don't have a monopoly there. I have my right to my party, my views. So when I'm speaking my views and my family over there, what have you, they have their views. So if you are saying because I'm in Liberia and I'm in America and you're in Liberia, or you just came from Liberia, so you know all of Liberia's problem, it's just not only it's inane to have that view. It's inane because that is a kind of attitude we don't want. You talk about light and LEC and roads. Those problems you're naming have been there before CDC came to power. And if you're thinking that, as I sat here and never said there was not a problem that CDC faced, I said we do not doing right. What more had to say? Do I have to criticize the president to make my point? That's not going to happen.
Mr. Williamson.
That's not the way I make my point.
Mr. Williamson.
I already said that we need to do more. What more do I need to say?
Mr. Williamson, those problems were there before CDC came to power.
Okay.
In 2005, this president said the country needed light and water. He comes to power. In the first 60 to 90 days, he started to break down his old home and build new ones in the absence of light and water. And you on here defending that this
no. Hold on. What am I defending? What am I defending?
No, I'm not gonna have you talk.
No, sir. But you can't.
You will come in. Okay. Get a breather. Let us go to the line and hear from Mr. Steve Johnson.
You see?
Yeah. Ashford. Good evening. Good evening, Shelton and Mr. Williamson.
Yes, my brother.
You know, I've been following the conversation since its inception, and I thought it was important.
Steve? Hello, Steve. Are you still there?
But
could you start over Ashford?
Steve, can you start over, please? Because there was a little
history.
Breaking terribly.
He continued. Go ahead, Steve. You might want to change your location, Steve. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you do a comparative analysis of regain,
I don't know what's
comparative analysis and come up with such a fat comment. First thing you want to look at is the development index. So within the development index, you're looking at the living standard of the people. You're looking at the creation of jobs, how many new jobs are added to the economy.
That's what I say.
Access to capital. You're talking about access to healthcare facility, access to roads and infrastructure, and those kind of heavy, big ticket items. And the last 3 years under President WEAH, Liberia has experienced successive negative growth in terms of the economics. Employment is at an all-time high. The very economic fabric of the country crumbled. You don't even have access. People don't even have access to currency. Currency or foreign exchange, which is primarily the US dollar. Banks are dry up. You launch an harmonization scheme which saw purchasing power for more than 1,000 civil servants, reduce some instances to 700%. When you then you look at infrastructure, you talk about those feeder roads that are less than 1 mile. Roads don't just transform people's lives. There are economics to roads. For instance, you build road where you have it creates revenue for and create opportunities. So the first question I would like to ask Mr. Williamson before I wrap up is, in the last 3 years, how many jobs, how many new jobs, other than just the regular civil service, everyday political appointment, how many new jobs have we added to the economy? How many new investment? How many companies have Liberia? How many new investment in terms of large-scale investment that will create opportunity for our people? What's the budget? What's the country's budget in terms of agriculture? What is our contribution to agriculture? What have we done to empower our people to being self-reliant in food production? In terms of core infrastructure, what have we done other than just those feeder roads? How many capital investment have we seen happen under WEAH in the last 3 years? So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Want to go back to Mr. Williamson and then of course Shelton. Then we can call this a night.
Okay, so again, let me thank you guys for doing this, but let me go back to the questions here. We talked about the way you were saying that I'm defending the president building house. Nowhere did I defend the president building, so I don't want you to misquote me. If you would quote me rightly. Nowhere did I defend the president building of houses. Nowhere. So let's do that. I won't like put words in my mouth. The second thing I want to say, if people are listening here and not just saying, oh, this guy is not criticizing WEAH, so he's not saying that. I just told you what the last caller said, that we need a wide-scale creation of jobs. In the absence of those things, at the ruling party, we will not be successful. I did say that in the beginning, that if you don't do that, we're not going to get successful. So all of what we're saying, if they're listening to me, then they will not have a problem. Second thing is, I don't have to be in Liberia. That idea that the Liberia in the diaspora have no saying in Liberia, only until they go there, that is a very bad idea. I'm going to Liberia in January, okay? My brother just left, my sister teaches at the university there, and she's here, she'll be leaving. The day-to-day and people who talk to me on Liberian politics and the daily life in Liberia, I never painted a rosy picture of Liberian life. I told you the reason we're having problems, the people cannot feel our leadership in the day-to-day activity. What more does one have to say to tell you that I see the problem that's there? What one has to say when I say we need to change course? I mean, because I don't call the president and criticizing me that I've never said anything. Those are the kind of understanding or biases when talking about facts. That's your bias. Because I'm not using critical verbiage to make my point means that I'm painting a rosy picture of the situation in Liberia. Anyone who listened to me know I didn't do that. I didn't pin that. We need to work harder that our leadership can be felt in the day-to-day life of the Liberian people, that people take-home pay can take them home. And until we do that, what happened in 2019 and what happened with the recent CPP victory will probably definitely be a norm. And I don't want that. And that's one of the reasons I'm talking with my party, for us to find do a post-mortem analysis as to why this happened, what we can do moving forward. But anyone listening to me deny me, ignore the suffering of the Liberian people. Yeah, that's not what I was here to do. I get the same information you get from Liberia. But to conclude, I'd like to say,
just before you conclude,
in the beginning,
just before you conclude,
and I want to make a commitment to your program. I want to make a commitment to your program because of what you do. I'm going to commit myself beginning tomorrow to bring $100 monthly to your program.
Oh, wow.
That's what you've done. What you're doing is widespread. It's ready. And I'm going to commit myself to that, irrespective of how, because such a platform is what Liberians need.
Okay. Just before you conclude, let us take a break for a minute, okay, and play this song that your best friend just released. Take a listen.
It's a birthday. Rastafari. Yeah, me know. Yeah, they say me a celebrate. They call it back. Go to run pam pam. It's a birthday time. Viva! Joe, Rastafari.
Happy birthday to you.
We gonna celebrate.
Happy birthday to you.
We gonna have a good time.
Happy birthday to you, dear.
We gonna party.
Happy birthday to you.
I wish you well.
Happy birthday
To you. We jamming again.
Happy birthday to you.
I wish you well.
Happy birthday to you, dear.
We gonna run pam pam pam.
Happy birthday.
Yes, I am. Look at you. Come here, we jump up around and we ramp up for your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Come back again. Come here, we jump up around and we ramp up for your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I know you feeling irate, so we gonna ramp up, celebrate, and have a good time all night long. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. I wish you well. Come here, we jump up around and we ramp up for your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Come back again. Come here, we jump up around and we ramp up for your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Rastafari, George upon WEAH, making his presence known tonight. Mr. Williamson, hey, your boy.
Yes, yeah, man. I mean, the song is good. Like I say, in any other time, we probably will not have an issue with that. But you know, people in Liberia, they having issues. So these kind of things will always have different views. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's his musician. I don't have a position on that on what he did there. What I do know, we have a work to do as a political party, as a ruling party. We have a work cut out for us.
And Shelton, just before he gives his pardon comment, I want you to come in. Again, this platform belongs to everybody. It's for Liberia. It's for the people of Liberia. It's for Africa. You know, when you were from Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Nigeria, you name it. This is your platform. And you just heard Mr. Williamson. He has committed to $100 a month for BRIDGERADIO Africa. Hey, we're asking all of you to do the same. This platform itself on there, and with the little token that you can help us with, we will be able to do what we have to do. Shelton?
Listen, we want to thank Mr. Williamson for his gesture, but it doesn't change the heat here tonight.
Exactly.
I'll be honest with you, Mr. Williamson.
Go after him, and you saw.
All right. I'm being very honest with you. We thank you for the gesture. We're family, but that doesn't change the heat here tonight. Do you know what it costs for studio time? It's a lot of time in studios. And WEAH was not a singer when he was growing up. I do music. Hours, long hours in studio. When this man should be leading the people of Liberia, when this man should be thinking about the economy, when this man should be thinking, like you said, how does he reshuffle his government or get rid of some people? Look at the numbers here. When was the last time he did evaluation for his ministers? When was the last time he called for, like you said, advice?
Shelton, let me hold you right there. Shelton, let me hold you right there. Talking about doing evaluation for his ministers. Look, I went to the transport ministry. The minister of transport, that just shows to you that we need a very responsible government. The minister of transport in red trouser with pink shirt, you know, and a backpack with quite a book bag on his back. This is supposed to be the minister proper of transport. That just shows to you that these people are just joking. They mean well for the country. It's all about themselves.
And so coming back, you know, Mr. Williamson, and I'm being honest with you, I studied leadership. Listen, I studied leadership. I'm in leadership, and I know what it means to set the tune. I know, because listen, the fingers are always pointed at the leader. And so to come here and try to exonerate President WEAH, and if you want to put on the ministers, he appointed those people. He put him in the positions, and he's the same one can change, them. But I don't think that he's done what Ellen did in the beginning. Maybe Ellen picked the wrong people who she took from the diaspora to go, and those guys got rich, and so maybe he's afraid that's similar. But listen, man, come on, you and I know this. We have 5 million people in Liberia. You want to tell me you cannot find more better people to come and help change the country? You're right here. I'm sure you mean good for Liberia if you were given the opportunity. I'm sure you're doing well here in this country, but the sacrifice for your country, you would be willing to go. So let's blame President Weah. The studio time he's taking here, he should be utilizing the studio time to be thinking about how he can change the destiny of the Liberian people. And I'm not exonerating. I'm not giving him no credit for hanging around here and playing.
Credit to Mr. Williamson. He said from the onset that President Weah needs to get out of the partisan stuff and reach out to folks who find themselves in the opposition. Even those that were part of the CDC before. He went on to name a few people. The Ava Tokwa, and how can he work with Darius DeLong and bringing other people? But President Weah does not appoint you because of qualification. He appoints you because of loyalty. And this has got to stop. If our country should go in a better direction, then we need to look around and hire competent people to move the country forward. You have people that can better read. They're in top positions,
Okay.
And it's just show up the work. That's all it is. Just show up. But nothing to the ministry, nothing to the department, nothing. Listen, you go to Liberia. It's just that people just sit around. Mr. Williamson, please go in January.
So let me ask a question here.
Please
before you ask that question, Mr. Williamson, let us take this very last caller, and that will be the last one for the night. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Tell us your name,
Mr. Ashford.
Yes, sir. You're live on the radio.
Yes, sir. This is Mark calling from Maryland. Yeah, I've been listening to Mr. Williamson. It's kind of mind-boggling for a man with a statue, to support the things that are going on. Many times when Liberians talk, the things that people hate the president. No, but I want to ask him a question. In the eyes of the security, where is the moral decency of the office of the president? Let's forget about the name. The moral dignity of the office of the president. This man become one of the leaders in the world. Where is the moral decency? And then let's look at from the security aspect. How can you play football in the street and then you have houses, 2-story, 3-story building? What is the security risk? So these are the two things I want for you to look at. Put the politics aside. This man is a president. People are not. We talking about Christmas. Somebody said, as the lady said, we talking about Christmas right now. My phone just buzzing. You can't even send money. Yesterday, I looked in one of the somebody sent me a video. These people were in the bank, their own money. They said they're not going to leave until they get their money.
That's smart thing.
And then the man making music, talking about happy birthday.
Come on. What birthday you celebrate? With no money.
Of the office.
And balling. The man is balling out of control.
This is serious.
Thank you, my brother.
It's nothing to play with. This is not politics.
Thank you. Thank you so
much.
Thank you. Okay, Shelton, my birthday is on the 27th. Your birthday is on the 1st. I think George Weah were trying to do a birthday song for us so we can slow down on him, but he missed it. So, Williamson, come in. Thank you so much for coming out, and then we can cut this at night.
Okay, so let me just say again, thank you guys for having it. But my contribution to this program has nothing to do whether you change your mindset or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. It's just because I think you guys are doing a great job and need the support. Secondly, what is morally indecent about singing? People use verbiage that don't make sense. You see, when you talk about security risk, as the last caller said, one can look at the president playing on outside and say, oh, it is secure that the president can do it. So we all can see things differently. He's talking about a 2-story building. Maybe somebody can be there and shoot. or the president play and nothing happy can send a message that Liberia is secure. So when you're talking about using words and think that you can't just use word with one definition. Again, let me say to you guys, well, if you listen to Mark Antony's speech, the Shakespearean style of speaking, while he spoke, he did not use critical verbiage, but his message was taken. I think if you want to listen and understand what I said, have that as your background and think what Mark Antony was saying while he was speaking. If I'm saying one thing here that we need to do X, Y, Z, I do not have to call President WEAH to criticize everything about him. I don't have a penchant for that. I know some of you have a penchant for criticizing everything WEAH. I don't. But that doesn't mean I can't call the problem as it is in Liberia, that there is problems that we need to take care of. There are. I just said it here over and over and again. And if you miss it, it's because your mindset is somewhere else and you want me to speak the way you want me to speak. My party has a problem. We need to get together and grow our party. We're losing the elections because we haven't grown our party since 2017. And that's the message I'm sending. If any party's listening to me, we got work to do. You have two pairs of hands here willing to help you guys and a mind here willing to work. So with that said, I want to thank you for the platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. And just know that this is your home. This is the home for CDC. This is the home for the CPP. This is the home for every Liberian politician. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the night. Sheldon, what a night.
Interesting, but actually I wanted to say this. I think Mr. Williamson played safe here tonight. And he played safe because he has an intention. He going to Liberia in January. And not to be accusatory, but he played safe. To be honest with you, but I think I like the brother. He strikes some good points. It's just that he's not calling the spade when it should be called the spade. And to be honest, WEAH is his own problem. Mr. WEAH is his own problem. And until he looks at the situation, look at the people he has around him and make some changes like Mr. Williamson, already, put forth, that's the only way that can beat the CDC in 2023. The Liberian people have overwhelmingly spoken. They know the problem. They're not blaming Thomas Fala. They're not blaming Akaris Gray. They are blaming George Mane WEAH. And I like when this lady said Opon. She reminded me of the days when he was Opon.
Yeah.
I haven't heard Opon name for a long time. So it was intriguing to hear the name. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. But listen, he has to listen here tonight. I think President WEAH, I've said it over and over. I don't think the guy is a bad guy. It's just that he's too stuck up in his mindset. And sometimes you got to let go your egotism. You got to let go that narcissistic behavior and become humble. And people like Williamson can help, give him the kind of, advice he needs. But if he just surround himself with yes, sir, he would be the emperor that is naked, walking around and telling me his garment is so beautiful. And he's getting naked by 2023. He will be butt naked. I'm telling you, if he doesn't really put his acts together.
Mr. Williamson can say all he wants to say, but I'm telling you, George WEAH is done. George WEAH will be a one-term president, and George WEAH will be lucky if he makes it to 2023 with the election of these new senators. Listen, I listened to Edwin Snow today on one of the local radio stations, and he said they are in consultation. So, I was on the flight with Edwin Snow. We both were in business class, and I said to him, Edwin Snow, look at Ghana. He said, they're not waiting for you. And then when we were in the VIP lounge, I said to him, Snow, are you going to be the next president pro term? He said, no interest. Now, Snow was one speaker. Emmanuel Nukwe was also a speaker. So between Snow and Nukwe, one of these guys will try to go for the position of president pro term. Snow is out because Now it will be a credibility issue, an integrity issue, because he said to me, ASHFORD GARLEY, that listen, I have no interest in becoming a president pro term. But you know, we have other people, Dara Zilon, Yomri Kangad, and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, Emmanuel Nukwe is doing a lot of talking, and I think he's interested in becoming a pro term.
Well, let me just tell you, politics is good, but politics, the strange bedfellows in politics. When I look at the list, there are 3 independent candidates, and there's nothing that says we cannot play our game to have these people look to realign with those people. There is nothing that says that. So part of our work to do is not just making enemies; it's going to reach across the aisle. And when you do that in politics, that's what you do. You build alliances, and that's what we need to do. We're not here going to keep them as political enemies forever. That's not the job of our party. That shouldn't be the job. I should say that shouldn't be the job of our party. There should be political diplomacy where you build the aisle, you reach across the aisle, and you build alliances with the 3 independent groups. That the president needs to reach out to Snow, maybe call him, they can have a summit. They can talk. You can reach out to the independent. Election is over.
And Mr. Williamson,
the president, when the president calls you.
And Mr. Williamson, in all fairness,
is he
one of
the
things that Snow said that caught my attention, he said, listen, we don't intend to be aggressive. We are going to be robust.
Yeah.
And then the general asked him, he said, listen, because we don't like what is coming out of the executive. When they put a bill out that will benefit the country and the people, we will not just sit on that bill because we disagree with the government or disagree with the executive. We have to be reasonable here. If it's in the interest of the people, if it will benefit the country,
yeah,
then we have to make sure that Liberia succeeds and the people of Liberia succeed as well. So I thought it was on point when he said that today.
But do you think you can ask Snow the next time what is his intention to think that Liberia, as one of the poorest countries, has one of the world's largest legislative body? What does he, one of the richest legislative body in the world, for the income and salary they're making? Are they intending to address that too? Because now they're in the position to do that. It's not WEAH's job. They are in the position to do that. I hope they do that. That you can't blame them. Are they trying to do something like that? But maybe that's the next time you should try to ask those. Huh?
Dinner has already begun.
So that's what I'm saying. That is off of the executive now. We're watching them since they're in power to see if they are willing to do that. Darius hasn't done it. There was not one bill. Darius passed to reduce their salary. If you would say you didn't know how much they were making,
what I mean, he took somebody's money and gave it back to.
But that's not what we need. We need legislation to reduce the salary.
Agreed.
Yeah, so which now is in the ball is in the court, and we're going to watch them do that. They were blaming so the ball is in the court now. So hopefully they can do those things that they said they wanted to do, so the Liberian people can money go back to them. So I'm very happy with this conversation here. And
I've been in Liberia over 10 years, man. That didn't live with the people every day, man. So
what does that have to do? What does that have to do with the money that's being made? You see politics. You know what somebody asked you? Let me tell you something. Same thing in 1996 when I got into Liberia, when the election was taking place. You see, I've been in Liberian politics for over 25 years in the long way. One of the jobs before I came to the state, I was administrative assistant to the first lady of Popular Liberia. I see Liberian politics from a position. Jewel Taylor when she was there. I worked with the MPP and NPP at that party with Snow, all of them. When Snow was youth chairman and other Roland Massacre was chairman. We go back to NDPL when Jones was the youth for the promotion of dual administration. I was part of that. So looking at Liberian politics, when you're ready to talk about things, no light, no pay, these things are entrenched in the way of our leadership. People are talking about LEC, what have you. 12 years of Ellie Johnson Sirleaf and $4 billion investment. And you guys are sitting down here, never call her out and think that because she used the word opulence, you didn't hold her to it. She couldn't even run on her own. She couldn't even run on her own record.
Something like
last night?
What Mr. Williamson. Why would you say we didn't call her out? Why would you?
No, but you didn't call her out during the time. But the last night is not the problem. Last night, it is the fact that we sit here and sit as if to say Liberia's problem today is the manufacture of CDC.
No, that's not what we said.
No, I listen to some of your callers, and these things are misinformation. But this is not, as a ruling party, I'm not going to equivocate bad governance. I'm going to hope that we can demarcate the change, and we can begin to do things that the people can say and feel our leadership. And that's my only biggest problem. And let me make this clear. I will go to Liberia, but I'm coming back here to my wife and family. My job here needs me. I'm coming back here, bro. Me and you will talk again. I will come visit you, Shelton, for you to preach me and say, oh, he's back here. Okay. I respect you.
Thank you,
I respect you guys, man. Listen again.
Hey.
Please, my only thing, can you put a website or maybe get PayPal? Maybe because they cash app thing, we can do it. But maybe other people, just my own suggestion. Get a PayPal account, and people can just make that on a monthly basis. Leave the content, and we do it on a monthly basis.
We got you covered.
Yes, please, man.
The website is already up. The PayPal will be up. Thank you so much, my brother.
Yes, sir. I'm with you, man.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. Thank you.
Oh man. Yeah. Shelton.
Yeah.
Man. We are over our time now. Just under 2 minutes. Give you a spill, and then we can call this a night.
That's why I think Bridge Radio Africa is becoming a formidable force in the media outlet. This platform is determined to be as accountable, speaking truth about the ills in the society. We are not here to take sides. We've always said that. And while our viewers and our listeners and our becoming committed members and following may have their opinion, and sometimes they may say, why did we bring this person in the studio? This person is this person is that. Well, the guests will defend themselves, right? All we need to do is just ask the question, go take for tag, and represent what we stand for, the interest of the Liberian people. That's why we are established. And as soon as we don't do that, then there's no need for us to exist.
Thank you.
So again, we want to thank you. Commit yourselves, commit your resources, whatever it is, to help us stay, because you see some of the interruptions in our caller. These things have to do with technology. And maybe if we have some better equipment and stuff, we could do more and way better. So again, thank you so much for being there tonight. We hope to be here tomorrow, and we'll continue from there. So Ashford, it was
and tomorrow is a big night. We're not going to let the cat out of the bag, but tomorrow we will be interacting with 2.5 million listeners in Liberia. We have the entire Southeast and the local.
Listen, somebody just wrote, we shouldn't be giving CDCIANs this platform. We will give CDCIANs this platform. We're going to give CCP,
CDC, now see CPP. This platform sees Liberians. I beg you.
We're here for Liberian people, my people.
Yeah, it's here for Liberia,
And CDC is in government, so we need them more to come and defend themselves.
Exactly.
We need them more. Hey man, come on. How can you point finger and the people come to defend themselves and you say we shouldn't give them the opportunity? They deserve the opportunity.
And I want to commend Mr. Joel Williamson in the fact that he represents CDC. He came out boldly and
he did well. He pointed out some of the things
a few missteps.
Even though he didn't say we are directly, like I said, the better play smart. The better play smart. The better is intelligent. You guys, when we are going to shake it, when he go to shake, we are here in January. We are saying, I know say you're talking about me. I want to see that man. He's in the man.
You about it. I'll get shut down, my man. Enjoy the rest of the night, my brother.
My man, good to see you, and we'll be here tomorrow by the grace of God.
My man. And I'm afraid that's all the time we have to be with you tonight. God willing, we will be back tomorrow night, 5 p.m. in America, 10 p.m. in Liberia. Until then, folks, Please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from bathing bucket. When God bless you, don't say that medicine. When white men know you friend black man. When you see the crawfish come from underneath the water and say the crocodile here sweating, don't say that lie. C'est tout pas yégué. C'est bon pour rana dia ko me chiraji. Do we chance on it? Basi yumpo. C'est comme we are pelia. The medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. Ashford the Giant. And now you know me, Garley. Have a good night.
Soki opesinga ya lolemu wana na komi esika na lingaka yo Maria Masane na bamba na motema na kokate tika na bilisa mama